Hey guys, I was interviewing the Workhouse artist Wendy Anderson, and she actually was kind enough to bring me over here and introduce me to Joe, the museum docent. And Joe was kind enough to offer us a little, short tour of this part of the museum. This is just to let you know that it's here, it's in the workhouse, and you want to come and learn more about the history of Lorton. Please come. Museum is open to public.
Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 3 during the week and 12 to 4 on the weekend.
So come and visit, and I'm gonna let Joe do his little shtick to just kind of give you a glimpse of this place here. Go ahead.
Okay, so back in 1910, the Congress authorized the district to purchase land anywhere they could find it, whether it be Virginia, D.C., or Maryland. So it happens that they had some land here in southern Fairfax, so they started out with 1,000 acres for $29,000. Yeah, and at that time,
Good deal.
yeah, at that time the Occoquan Park was not Occoquan Park; it was just part of the prison land. So the inmates would be brought from D.C. by barge to the Occoquan Park. There they set up tents, which was the first prison tents. And from the tents they built stockades, and from the stockade they built the wooden structure up here, which represents the first facility, all made out of wood. From the wood, down at Occoquan Park again, they built these kilns. They had 10 of these. You can see it over here. And they had it along the Occoquan River there. It had 10 of those kilns. And there they manufactured bricks that built all of the buildings.
And we see in Occoquan the remnants of the brick oven, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Is it one of those?
Down in Occoquan,
Yeah.
the kiln, yeah. Actually, you can see the inmates over there working at it.
Yeah.
So down at Occoquan Park, we also had a pig farm. It was very self-sustained. The land grew from 1,000 acres to 3,500 acres. So it encompassed all this southern part here.
Wow.
Due to the prison, at the beginning was to try to rehabilitate the folks who were accused mostly of drunkenness, alcohol abuse, shoplifting, petty crimes. And they would come down here and they worked the farm. They had cornfields, they had cattle, milk dairy, pig farms. And it was pretty self-sustained operation. As time moved along, we had 6 different facilities. We had the workhouse, we had central facility, which is off of Lorton Road, and maximum security, which is off of Silverbrook. And up Furnace Road, we had a youth center. And down on Hoos Road, there was a Nike missile site, which after the Cold War closed, and it was converted to a women's minimum security facility. Across the street, across 123 here, you see a water treatment facility.
Yeah.
That used to be the women's workhouse at the beginning. When the women's workhouse closed, it was converted to a youth center for youthful offenders. The workhouse itself continued to be that till the late 60s. In 1966, there was a Supreme Court decision that said that alcoholism was not a criminal offense, but a sickness. So subsequently, a lot of the inmate population had to be released, and that reduced the manpower available to work all the enterprises that we had down here.
Oh, that's why it's closed.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah. But before it closed down in the late 60s and 70s, all the way to when it closed, it was kind of overcrowded due to the increase of crime out in the community. In the beginning, it was very minimal crimes, but in the late 60s onward, it was all very criminal, rapists, murderers, arsonists, bank robbers, so forth. As we move along here, you can see all these implements that you see, tools, all manufactured at the prison by the inmates. I don't
know, guys, if you can see, but
yeah.
If you want to see better, you come and check it out, okay?
It out. That's right. They made manhole covers, they produced milk, and they processed it and gave it to the school kids in D.C. Little containers here.
Cool.
Yeah. So they
It's
had
a lot of history here. It's a
Yeah.
lot of interesting things. And you know where The Silverbrook, the new construction going on,
Mhm.
that's where the maximum security prison was.
Well, and it's still there. You can still see it.
Oh, and did you know that the last prisoner left this place in 2001?
Yeah. And a little side note: the central facility and maximum security facility are now being converted to housing areas, luxury apartments, if you will. And there are people living there now.
Okay.
That's become a community.
Okay. I'm going to shut up about that, but if you want to know what I think about it, call me.
And then we see here the license plates that they all manufacture.
Of course, yeah.
Back in the early days, they used to have to buy a plate every year. They made them
Oh,
on
really?
a yearly basis, yeah. Because they didn't have the idea that we had today where we buy the little sticker
Yeah,
and
yeah,
put
yeah,
it
yeah.
on the tag.
Wow.
We
That's a
also-
lot of plates to make for people to buy every year. But then again, you didn't have that many cars
No.
that we have now.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that,
and
that
back
kind of...
in those days, you also had to have a license for the particular state that you drove in. You didn't just have one license and go all over the countryside. If you a resident of Maryland, you
Yeah.
needed a Maryland license to drive. If you were in D.C., you had to have a D.C. license to
So,
drive.
okay, so you couldn't drive with Virginia license,
In Maryland,
let's say to Florida.
right,
You would have to get license for every single state you're going to go through.
right.
Wow.
But I don't know how many people were driving all the way down there.
It's hard to understand now because we all drive we'll drive to
limits.
Alaska. I mean,
Yeah.
no limits. But
Well,
back then,
yeah.
it probably wasn't the common.
Well, and then I'm
experience.
sure probably not everybody got the license anyway. 'Cause
Oh,
then you
okay.
have, that many law enforcement people checking everybody,
So-
at will.
This was made here.
Food trays, yes, for the inmates.
All right.
They-
There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm gonna let Joe go because we don't want this to be too long. People are gonna fall asleep, honestly. But
Okay.
you need to come because it's really interesting history, and this is the history of Lorton. This is where we live. If you haven't checked it out, come on. You know the hours. I will post the hours and all the information below this video as well. I hope you enjoyed this little video, but I think you will enjoy visiting here between the workhouse and the museum and a lot of stuff that's going on here. Come, check it out.
Yeah, you could all see the suffragettes when they were incarcerated here.
Oh, okay. That's another reason for you to come. Well, thank you so much.
You're
And
very welcome.
okay, guys, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time. Bye.